The enemy of my enemy is my friend. We are on survival mode. When somebody is drowning, they're not going to look if they is a leftist or a right wing or is white or black. You just take the hand. We're allowed, we're educated, we read a lot, and we're not afraid. They give me courage to do what I do. What does a 17-year-old girl has to go through that send me a message that this is my will, I'm writing you my will, don't forget my name. Goodbye. People are starting to be braver and braver and braver. We all know someone who got killed. Some of us have family members that got killed just because. We remain. We're not going anywhere. It doesn't matter how many of us they kill. You can kill me, but you cannot take that away from me.
Did they tell you that you are going to die?
Yeah. So good to be here.
Welcome to the podcast, Farnoush Hamidian.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I didn't actually think you would genuinely come here and we're going to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a real intriguing to look at your content and try to understand who you are. You seem like a very inspiring person. So
Thank you so much.
thank you for being here. I'm very excited to have you.
I'm honored.
And if I may, I would propose that maybe today our intention for the conversation could be making Iranian people seen.
That would be a blessing. Thank you so much. Because unfortunately, everybody talks about everything about Iran, about Iranian government, about economy, about oil, about everything else other than the Iranian people. It's like they're excluded. Which, from my perspective, even based on the population is like 92 million people, between 92 and 93 million people. You cannot disregard those people and what they want. So I use my platform and the access that I have to an extent to say what they want and to show who they really are and what their hopes and dreams are. Their hopes and dreams are very much like you. Like me, like everyone else. So to be able to disregard a nation, you need to dehumanize them. But the Iranians cannot be dehumanized because we're allowed, we're educated, we read a lot, and we're not afraid. So they give me courage to do what I do. They inspire me. Like sometimes when they put comments on my Instagram posts, or sometimes they write me like, "Oh my God, you inspired me so much." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You guys are inspiring me." It's like the other way around. And I think it's just a both way thing. That is like their hands in my hands, and everyone just like me that are Iranians outside of the country. We do it because they deserve it. It's not the other way around.
So there's this fascinating idea that when you serve something larger than yourself, it makes all the suffering go away. Is that your experience when you serve the Iranian people and essentially contribute to their freedom?
Look, their freedom is my freedom. So for me, I would say it's a very selfish cause because it concerns me too. I am from that land. I've experienced the things that they have experienced. Yeah. I've been through the things that they have experienced, and they do on a daily basis. But I was privileged enough to be in a family that could afford certain things so I could have a better life elsewhere, to survive in a sense, if that makes sense to you. So I think if I don't, it will be a slap in the face of everyone that's been through the same thing as I. just because they didn't have the means to be me or be better than me. Because there's so many of them that I don't want to say I am nothing compared to them, but I am really nothing compared to them. Their talent, their level of IQ, their education, the number of the books they read on a daily basis is ridiculous. It's like in a village in Iran, you go ask a person, for example, who fought the USSR, which American president was, like, the person knows. Like, do you tell them to name, I don't know, English prime ministers for the past, I don't know, since the Second World War, they will tell you one by one. And it's nothing fancy. It's just casual. You know, it's like the common knowledge, the society's intelligence and information, the knowledge about like general information is bizarrely high. So I can only be a channel to be their voice. It's like I'm their wireless microphone, you know what I mean? So the joy it gives me is just the pleasure of being their wireless microphone and keep my dignity intact and not regret that I could do something and I didn't do. That gives me hope. It doesn't give me joy. It gives me hope. Because with this amount of suffering, you simply cannot feel joy until the suffering ends.
So what will that look like? What's the like ideal future state for the Iranian people?
Oh my God. We are, my nation, we're hopeless romantics. So it's very interesting because when you talk about freedom, it's like, okay, Iran is free tomorrow morning, day zero. Before anything else, people will just grab wine and go to historical places and drink wine and dance and read poetry. That would be the first thing they do, which is like really odd. Like when you get like, once the Berlin Wall falls, what do? You grab wine and read poetry? No, you don't. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's so romantic. Our land for us is very romantic. The way we look at freedom is also quite romantic because we understand the depth of what it can, the lack of it can do to the human soul. And we experience that on a daily basis. And imagine one day that oppressed soul is set free. Like you set yourself on fire from happiness, you know? You express all the emotions that you could never express. Dancing for women in my country is forbidden. And yet, the Persian culture, like at any household, is like you're a girl, you dance. So you just dance behind the closed doors like 24/7. Your mom wakes up in the morning, she's cleaning home, she plays music and she's singing with it and she's dancing with it and you do it too just because, you know, and that's you as a little girl. Like you can't wait for birthday parties and family gatherings. So they play some music. Like they used to put like cassettes. Like
those little cassettes.
Yeah, cassettes. And then they were playing music and everybody was like clapping and like the girls were dancing and the guys were looking. Like usually that's a girl thing to do in Iran. It's like girls dance. Like guys don't. Right. Excuse me, Persian guys, but you dance terribly. I'm so sorry. You dance like morons. They really are not good dancers. And culturally, Iranian girls dance. And the guys just clap and watch them dance. And that's a very beautiful thing. Even children, you know, the fathers will just stand there and watch their daughters dance. And that's such a gorgeous thing. And then the real world happens, and then you enter the society, and everything you've ever been is forbidden. Your existence is forbidden. Your hair is forbidden. Your breasts are forbidden. Your skin is forbidden. Your dance is forbidden. Your singing in public is forbidden. So you are forbidden. What happens if it's not forbidden anymore? What do? You run, you dance, you laugh. You put your hair in the wind, just like, let the wind go through my hair. And that's something very shallow when you think of it, but not for us. Like, I remember growing up, the only time that the wind was going through my hair in public was when we were going to the beach, to the ladies section. And it's like all covered. And that's where I was experiencing like wind going through my hair. And I remember that. And sometimes because we're from the mountains in the north, we're from Savodkuh, actually, where the Persian king Reza Khan was from.
Oh.
Literally from the same exact place. It's called Savodkuh.
Yep.
Savodkuh, the name, like if I tell you the meaning of the name, you're gonna laugh. Savad means knowledge. Kuh means mountain. So the mountain of knowledge. This is how ridiculous we are. You know what I mean? Like, where you're coming from, the mountain of knowledge. And you don't think of it when you grow up. There's like Savatku, so what? Like, it's a village, like, you know. So the names are like this. Like, like very, very, very bizarre and beautiful and extreme. So I'm from there with whatever that comes with it, is the forest, the beauty and all of that. And as a child, you grow up in an unbelievable freedom through your mother. Because the mothers in Iran are extremely open-minded. Extremely open-minded. They are the ones who let their daughters dream and help them live a more free life than they have experienced, with all the limits. Like my mom used to take us to like the forest and like with my dad and stuff. So we were taking our veils off because there was no one around, like climbing trees and like doing all of like picking like fruits from like wild trees and like eating them, and that we didn't know what it was, so it was like burning our mouth. Like, but Persian mothers will let you experience. Like, won't tell you don't touch the knife. They will teach you how to use a knife.
Wow.
Like, I was very small. I was so small that I could not reach the counter. So my mom was putting me on the counter if she could, or put a chair for me. So go on the chair and then go on the counter, and giving me a knife that is like as big as my head to chop stuff. Like, you don't do that, you know? In the modern world, you say, oh, it's dangerous for a
10
baby.
10-meter distance.
Yeah. They let you experience.
Wow.
And that's the freedom they give you. And that cannot be taken away from an Iranian woman. And that's how we resist. That's how we resisted everything. Because of our mothers. And I think whatever we do is because our mothers led us and opened the door for us, made us dream and made us dare. Also, like, we saw them always telling us that, don't worry, I'll handle your dad. But what does that even mean? It means I'll handle the patriarchy. Go. You want to go to, I don't know, you want to get a boyfriend? I won't tell your dad. He will never know. Go get a boyfriend. You want to hang out with your friends and go, I don't know where, and your dad is not going to let it happen? I'll handle it. Go. They're kind of your mother. Like Persian women will become your partner in crime, if that's, if I can say that, from any aspect. Whatever you do, you can go to your mother and she will fix it. She will help you fix it. The best thing you do, she will encourage you to do more. And the worst things you do, she will teach you how to get out of it, because she's been through so much. Not only because she loves you as a mother, no. It's because she's experienced so much hardship. She's been there, done that, moved on. It's nothing new to her. That's why also the Iranian women are very much ahead of Iranian men psychologically, because they've been through much more than the Iranian men. But obviously, the Iranian men after the revolution, not the generation of the revolution, obviously some of them, they went through so much, but some of them not, because they accepted the situation and the situation was not affecting them as much. They didn't have to cover their hairs. They were not being arrested because of immoral clothes. They didn't have less rights. Yes, they had political restrictions, which is already horrible, like horrible. But for women, it's been way worse. Like all of a sudden, from a free woman, that we had Iranian politicians. In 1962, it was, I think, in Europe that women had the right to vote. In Iran, women already had the right to vote. They didn't need
Much
to fight
earlier,
for
right?
it. Yeah. So in 1962, when Europe started to give the right to women to vote, Iranian people were like, nice. All of a sudden, late 70s, it's all been taken away from you, in the sense of you could still vote, but guess what? The election is rigged. You don't count. Or if you get hit by a car, and you die, if you're a woman, your body, your life, financially worth half a man. So in Farsi, we have something diye, like if you kill someone without wanting, like accidentally, like in a car accident, you pay a fee to the family. So if you kill the woman, you pay half. In the courts in Iran, women as witnesses, they're testifying, like their testimony is worth, I don't know if it's a half or a third of a man.
That's crazy.
So all of a sudden, from that being the most important Navy commanders in the history of humanity, which were Persian women, like you Google it, you'll see it's very interesting. Being war commanders, being politicians throughout the history. What I mean throughout the history, I don't mean 100 years ago. I mean for the past 3,500 years. Like the time of Artemis, the time of Panthea, the time of all the female Persian queens, they were commanders, majority of the time. They were really high rank, like they were king's advisors. So from that, all of a sudden, your life is worth half a man. And then if you have children, if the husband wants to divorce, you can do it anytime, and you don't have the divorce right. So you cannot get out of a terrible situation unless your partner agrees to divorce you. And then the government does other stuff like catching you because your hair shows. So the things that can happen to you that happened to so many people. I mean, it happened to me, like the rapes and the tortures and all of that. Then again, because the life of a woman is legally worth half, psychologically, it affects the people who are actually doing the act. I'm not saying it's not their fault. No, you always have a choice. But when you live in a society for 40-something years, that one part of the society is dehumanized. Obviously, you give yourself the right to treat them in a certain way. Even if you're extremely educated, there is still some parts of you that you can use this advantage. Okay, you're in a beautiful marriage, something goes wrong, you want a divorce. Just to punish your wife, you're not going to divorce her for 2 years. You're not a bad person. You know what I mean? You're not a horrible person.
It's just the way of the
It's just
things.
the way is a tool that you can use. So in a society, these tools are so many in Iran. And then it comes to economy, and then it comes to payment for, I don't know, like incomes. Then you go to other layers that is also includes men, like general corruption, like issues with the political freedom of speech, freedom of thought, even freedom of religion, and then all these things that also affect men. But the way women experience that is not only political and not only freedom of the things they can do. For women is the freedom of existing as they are physically. Is the hair, is the skin, is the eyes, is the everything. So you learn to almost not to like yourself automatically.
Do you know, is there like a logical reason why are they trying to ban this powerful femininity that lives in Iran?
Because if women are powerful, those men cannot exist.
So it's just such a, because it sounds like
control.
Right. It sounds like Persian women are like the probably biggest force in the world. Look, the way you describe it.
Persian women and Persian men throughout the history, they were alongside one another. None of them owned anything. Like, none of them felt superior. You know what I mean? They were like real partners.
Yeah.
They built empires. They raised children. They taught science to them. Female scientists, male scientists, female commanders, male commanders, like everything was just so organic. But then there's this religious lunatics that are a cult come and take over. It's like, how do we keep this to ourselves? Women are sensitive and they're mothers. It's easier to oppress them because we may not be physically able to oppress men because they can physically rise against us more than women. Because women may not do certain things to keep their children safe. They come after your children. To be able to keep your children safe, you say yes to anything anyone does to you.
Sure.
That's called motherhood, right?
Or parenthood. Yeah.
But mother instinct is completely different because you just simply give birth to them
100%.
physically.
Can't even compare.
So
that's absolutely true.
It is somehow slightly deeper, I would say.
Much deeper.
So, no offense. No
I'm,
offense to
no,
fathers.
no, no, none
We
taken.
love dads.
Yeah, none
We
taken.
love dads. And that's something biological, you know? So you do anything to keep your child safe. So you accept the rules and you force that rule on your child too. So when the child exits home, she will come back home safe.
Sure.
Like if the government said, okay, you need to wear a veil, the mother knows and the father knows that if the daughter exits home without a veil, she will be in very big trouble and she will be unsafe. What do? You also force your daughter or your child to behave the way the government wants just because you want to keep them safe.
What did your mom tell you when she presumably taught you how to wear the veil and how to behave like the government wanted? Did she say that this is just like bad people that want us to do this way, so we have to pretend out there, but over here inside our own home we can be free and we can dance? So how did that?
Thing is, you don't even say that. It's an unspoken rule. It's just that every time you want to exit home, your mom tells you to be careful and try not to go to certain streets that they may have a morality police. And she tells you if there's something wrong with your outfit, she will tell you. Like Farnoush, like this is like don't wear these pants, for example, or don't wear this shirt, or don't wear this thing, or don't wear this color of nail polish, or wear gloves when you have that nail polish, like certain things. And throughout my life, the position of the government changed based on what president comes to be able to get votes. For 1 year, they give slightly more freedom, like what they're doing today, that they're convincing Donald Trump that they have changed because they're so amazing, they can change. No, they always do this. They've done that for 47 years, that every time they need votes or they need support from anyone, they slightly bring down the evil. And then once the election is over, or once they get their political need, then it switches in 1 month, like this. I have experienced this maybe around 20 times in my life. This ups and downs with each election, each war, and each political change. So we experienced the glimpse of freedom, a glimpse of it, not full freedom, a glimpse of freedom. Like they were like, oh, every time they're like, oh, we're dismantling the morality police. And next month, like, okay, they killed someone just because.
What's the morality police?
A person who tells you that your veil is not proper enough. And if your veil is not proper enough, they will arrest you.
Really?
And you go to jail after 3 times being arrested for that. That's what happened in 2022. If you recall, Mahsa Amini was killed because her hair was showing. I mean,
it's crazy.
If you look at her, how she looked like, she was fully covered. She had her scarf, she had her veil, she had her manteau, we call it, is like a long coat, so you don't show any curves in your body. And then she had her pants, like it's not, there was nothing, like she didn't even have short sleeves, just because they want to create fear, and fear creates oppression, correct? When you fear something, you do whatever they want so you don't get hurt. But once they hurt you and someone you love dies, then you go after them. And then they kill you too. Or they arrest you too. So it's a cycle that's been happening for 47 years, and people are starting to be braver and braver and braver in a sense of not fearing the fear. Like, what else can happen to me? We all know someone who got killed. How bizarre is that? Some of us know multiple people that got killed. Some of us have family members that got killed just because, not because they went to war, not because they did anything specifically wrong, just because. Like there was this kid, this is one of like thousands, okay? Everybody thinks when I say thousands or millions, I'm exaggerating. I really am not. There was this child called Kian Pir Falak. During the protest times in 2022 and 2023, when Mahsa Amini was killed, everybody started to go on the street. We started to be active on social media, to be the voice of the Iranian people. The internet got cut off. The Iranian government, I don't even want to say the Iranian government, the Islamic Republic cut off the internet. So the people that had Starlink or were traveling to other countries, like at the border of Iran, to be able to send us messages or send us like footage of what happened. And then we were reflecting it on the news, we were sending it to media because we don't have media. So we, the civilians, have to be the media. Because there's no other contact between Iranians and the outside world. So the Iranians that are outside have to do the job. So what happened was, during one of those days that they were shooting people randomly on the street just because they were opposing to killing girls, there was this child, he was in a car with his mom and dad, and they were going back home from, I don't know, I don't remember, from someone else's home. They were like, not even political. They shoot the child in the car. He was like this. And they shoot the dad too. What do you do with that information? And then you hear, okay, this happened. Oh, 5 others happened the same night. Oh, tomorrow morning you wake up, it's like, oh my God, so many people have been executed already. Executed, like have been captured and executed. And then it keeps on, like the snowball keeps on rolling, gets bigger and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then it's 2026 January. And then people are like, enough is enough. Now we don't even have food to eat. Not only that, we don't have freedom. Like, where is the gas? Where is the oil? Where's the resources that we have? Like, where are they? What happened? Why don't we have food? Why don't we have electricity? Why do you cut our water? And at the same time, the government was going on TV saying, go pray to God that it rains. Meanwhile, they knew they caused the water shortage with creating the missile cities. Because they were building the missile cities. So they had to cut completely certain rivers for them not to cross certain mountains, that they were within the mountains, inside the corpse of the mountain, the body of the mountain inside. They had to empty the inside and keep it as like a shield to build the missile cities inside. They knew all of that and they did all of that. And I started to dig in, it's quite interesting, into how much water the atomic sites use. Forget about it. Like, it sucks the water of the land so much that it dries out even the agricultural lands that are kilometers away from them. Just because there's no water left in the ground, because they just take it and take it and take it. And because they use that for reducing the temperature of the centrifuges. Like, super complicated. I never thought I would ever know this. Like, because you need to search for the reason, the cause of it. And then everything came out. And then the gas was, people didn't have gas during winter to warm themselves. Why? We hold 11% of worldwide gas resources and we don't have gas. People don't have gas. And then we hold 9% of the oil, earth resources. Like that. This is like, these numbers are massive. And then you don't have money. Like what? And then we realized that the worth of the atomic program of Iran and everything they invested, it's worth now $3 trillion. So that's why people are hungry. That's why there's no water. That's why there's no gas. That's why they sell stuff to China for cheap. That's why they need the sanctions, because the sanctions create them back channels to sell to whoever they want in the black market, to be able to make the money untraceable. That where does the money go? If the international world will be open to them, they won't be able to hide where they spend the money, because the international banking system will know. There is no international banking system in Iran. We don't have credit cards.
Wow.
We don't have foreign banks. We don't have international banks in Iran. We cannot wire money elsewhere, nor we can receive it. So imagine you go through all of this, and then they also oppress you and take all your freedom away from you. What would you do? I wonder.
It's really unjust. It really is like crazy that the country has so much historical sophistication, current sophistication, like tremendous natural resources, very powerful people, both, female and male, obviously the Persian
It's
queens.
both.
Yeah, both. The such richness of culture and then such oppression. It's like huge amount of darkness wrapping around this like bulb of beautiful light.
Absolutely.
Somehow needs to be released.
But you know what? I'll tell you something that I think. I think even if you rub a diamond in a mud,
It'll still be a diamond.
it will still be a diamond when you bring it out and just wash the mud off. It may look rusty for a while, but once you brush the dirt off, still remains.
Yep, diamonds are forever.
And we remain.
Yeah.
We remain. We're not going anywhere. It doesn't matter how many of us they kill. With the Muslim invasion, I think like around 700 years ago, they tried to remove the Persian language completely and replace it with Arabic. And we resisted to that. It was like the same exact thing with the Christians, for example, in Japan.
It's really hard to do something like that because it's people's identity is the language and you've got so many people.
People were willing to die to keep
I can understand that.
Persian books and Persian manuscripts at home because it's forbidden to hold anything with Persian writing. So they created underground schools to teach Persian. We resisted. Alexander the Great, like, yes, we failed, like they invaded us. Yes, the Genghis Khan came and burnt everything down. But guess what? We're still there. You can kill just so many of us. We're not going anywhere. You better befriend us because you can take such a good advantage of having this kind of human resources that you can have the share of the oil with businesses. You can have the share of the gas with businesses. We are traders. We were a part of the Silk Road.
Yeah.
For a very long time. We are business people. We're traders. We're intellectuals, we're poets, we're mathematicians, we are workers, we're teachers, we are mothers, fathers, athletes. We're human. But I would say with good potential of doing something good for others too. There's so much advantage you can take from us, which is wonderful. And we're willing to do that and we're open to do it because why not? So I don't really believe in the colonization. They're like, oh, these Americans and Israelis are going to come and take this. I'm like, who does anything for free? Like, why? Why would anyone do anything for free, first of all? Second of all, business is business.
So what do you think about this American-Israeli initiative that has been ongoing since March?
Well, what I think is irrelevant. What the people of Iran think that live inside the situation, that's what matters the most. People, while marching for freedom, they were asking for help because they knew what happened to the USSR and what happened with the Nazis during the Second World War. Without the foreign intervention, we all would be speaking German by now.
True that.
If we were alive. If we would have survived. During the Second World War, between 83 to 85 million people died, and people just think it's just 6 million. No, there were 6 million Jews that they were killed in Europe, which is a massive number compared to the European population at the time. 13 million Europeans were killed. But between 83 to 85 million people died during the Second World War because Japan was Nazi. Hiroshima happened because Japan was a Nazi state. The British, the Allies, the Americans came. For whatever reason, it doesn't even matter why. The motive is irrelevant. The consequence of that motive was the freedom of Europe, regardless of we like the result or not. So many people have survived because of it. And we know historically, because of our own history of like thousands of years, and European modern history, and the history of war, we know what we're talking about when we're saying, these guys are going to come for you. If they are willing to do that to their own people, what would they be willing to do to people they call strangers and kafir? They call like whoever is not from their religion. What would they be willing to do to you? Like, to what extent how far can they go? And the ideology is to export the ideology. It's in the written books.
Mm-hmm.
They always say, we're not an Iranian nation, we're a Muslim nation. You remove the identity of the geographical part of it, and then you put religion instead. So it makes you a religious fanatic, that you put your religion above your land. So land generally has no value to you. Owning the land by someone has no value to you, so you can take it. That's why they have militias in other countries. They controlled Iraq for so long.
Mm-hmm.
They control Yemen with the Houthis. They control Lebanon, a big part of Lebanon with Hezbollah. They control a very, very massive part of Palestine with Hamas. They fund all these guys. They control a part of Afghanistan and Pakistan with Fatimiyun and Zainabiyun. These are all militias. Why? Because you want to expand You are expanding. You increased the amount of power of Shias in Lebanon and created chaos. You did the same thing in Yemen. You did the same thing in Pakistan. You're doing the same thing in Afghanistan. You're doing the same thing in Africa. Like, why? Very obvious reason. You're expanding. So they come to Europe. For now, they're using Europe as a safe haven because they have their finances in Europe.
Or no?
They have their finances a lot in England, in France, Switzerland, and Germany, and Spain. So they don't attack you at the moment just because. If they find another solution to move it elsewhere, they won't need you anymore. You have no use to them. And you are kafir. They will come and they will take you. So what we want to do is not to let that happen, not only because of our land, because we've seen what it can do to people. It makes me so angry sometimes when I see in Europe people complain so much about the democracy they have, and they want to accept certain things that in my country we beg to remove.
Memory short on people, unfortunately.
But not ours. We don't forget history because we keep on repeating it and reading it and reading it and reading it. You need to keep on reminding history. Why the people inside Iran actually, while doing the protest, asked for help. Like, they even wrote on the walls, on the floors with their own blood. Like, they put their hands in their own blood and wrote on the walls and on the floor, and it with whatever means they could. Even on the bridges, like they were like, people don't understand, to be able to write that, you need to risk your life because you're gonna get shot in the head while you're writing that. And you're lucky if you die and you get shot in the head, because if not, they're going to take you and they're going to torture you, and God knows what they do to you. And then they may or may not give your dead body to your family. Maybe they would, maybe they won't. And your family may never know where you're buried, just because they write things on the walls. So imagine how desperate you need to be willing to die, to send a message that maybe, only maybe, someone sees it and comes to help your people. Because when you do that, you already think you're not going to survive this.
Yeah.
You may get killed right away. So you're doing it for others.
Also very committed to the inherent goodness that lives inside the country, that you're willing to die for it.
And it's such a bad thing at the same time.
It's awful and unjust, and it's like very evil, but
it's like, what do you have? Like, what does a 17-year-old girl has to go through that send me a message that this is my will, I'm writing you my will, don't forget my name, goodbye. Like,
is that what you did?
Others did these sent these messages to me, right. Children.
Right.
I cannot count the number of wills I received. Don't forget our name. This is my name. If I die, I may die. And some of them actually committed suicide afterwards because of what they saw.
That's really crazy.
After what they saw.
Not even what they went through, what they saw.
What they saw.
That's
so
unspeakable.
People of Iran wanted America and Israel to come to help. I'm never going to comment on what these two countries may have done elsewhere. I am focusing on what happens in my own country.
Yes.
And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. We are on survival mode. When somebody is drowning, they're not going to look if the guy who's trying to take in their hands and pull them out of the water is a leftist or a right wing or is white or black, or
you just take the hand.
You just take the hand.
Be grateful.
You just take the hand and you're grateful because they didn't let you drown. We are just, not we, I will exclude myself because, again, what I think is completely irrelevant. The people of Iran inside the country are extremely devastated. Extremely devastated. That's why the bombings have stopped.
I see. So they would like this to continue.
They wish for it.
Which makes sense because that could potentially can remove, the more bombs, the more evil can be removed, right?
One of my cousins' home was destroyed in a bombing. I was feeling terrible for him. And he messaged me, he's like, yeah, this happened and that happened. I'm like, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. He said, no, are you kidding me? I think of a day that I wake up in the morning and they won't be there anymore. They're not a bunch of rich people that don't need money or home to live in. No. Imagine, what is freedom to us to be free of these guys? Like, if there is hell and there are those monsters that we see in Renaissance paintings and like some in churches and in even like in biblical paintings and also like religious paintings, that how hell is going to look like and how those monsters are going to burn you alive and do etc etc etc. They live there.
Yes. So when you are in hell, anything that takes you out of the hell is going to be okay, regardless of in what way, shape or form it comes, because it can't get any worse.
Obviously, psychologically, it's extremely difficult for them. And it's also difficult for us.
I'm sure.
Because hearing the bombs, you go through the war. You're not happy about the war. Because at the end of the day, it's like the shock, it may kill you. The shock of the explosion, it is war, right? But you just think of, holy shit, they may die like those bad guys. How incredible is that? So some of the people were standing behind their windows, even though it was dangerous and they were getting hit by the wave of the explosions, cheering, yeah, hit it, and something was exploding in front of them. Obviously, they're not happy because they are being bombed. They may die. And so many of them, not so many, some of them did. But knowing that now, today, there's less numbers of those evils in the country exist, itself is a hope for future. It creates more hope for future. But now people are disappointed because we know for a fact that if Donald Trump would have continued everything and would let Israel to do the rest of the job and wouldn't stopped Israel, these guys would be able to cease to exist by the end of this year.
You think that quickly?
Because people would have helped.
Of course, at some point.
No, they want to. They're just waiting. They were waiting for arms because they were told that the arms are on the way. So the whole plan was America and Israel bomb from the sky, and they will give instructions to the people on the ground, Iranian civilians, that will be armed, where to move and how to move. We were the boots on the ground.
92 million of them.
We didn't need boots on the ground. We might have needed, I don't know, like some people to guide and train, but not even when you're on survival mode. Just like the resistance in France. You remember that part of the history? The resistance group that helped Stalin and helped the Americans to topple this.
Yes, that's a famous story.
We were and we are the resistance. Just let us. Look, this regime will fall, and not on its own. We will do it with or without help. But without help, it will take much longer, like a decade longer. And more people are going to die. And we won't forget who did not help. Obviously, we will forever remember who helped. Because historically, we are quite, we have good historical memory. We will always remember who is and who was our friend and who was not. We want the same thing to happen to us that we would do if you were in trouble. Like the Persian diplomat during the Second World War that through the Iranian embassy secretly fed, I think, around 600 Jews. He could be killed. Like, he could get killed if the Nazis would have known. It took one guy to save all those lives. I'm not sure about the number. I don't know if it's 200 something people. I don't want to say something that is not accurate. If it's 200 something people or if it's 600 something people.
But there's clearly hope. There has been efforts by the Iranian people to claim back their freedom, and there has been an external initiative this year. So it sounds like it's only a matter of time.
It is. It is a matter of time. It is a matter of time. And we won't lose hope. It doesn't matter how many times we break.
How important is hope amidst dark times?
We are nothing without hope. We won't exist without hope. Like, there was this interview of this gentleman that survived Auschwitz. If he only knew that he will be free one day and alive, how would he feel? How that child would suffer less while going through that, knowing that I will survive this and I will stay alive. Hope is not something that, okay, it removes your pain. It does not. It doesn't remove the problem, but it helps you get through it. And it automatically wires you to move towards fixing things. I gained hope in 2016. Before that, I had no hope. My life was hell. The hardship of my life did not necessarily change, but the way I live life has changed.
What happened in 2016?
I was dying in a hospital from meningitis, and I survived that too.
Did they tell you that you are going to die, or did you think that you were going to die?
No, they told me.
What does that feel like?
Nothing. It was a relief.
Were you in such pain at that moment, or?
No, I was in so much. Look, with the life that I had, death would be a blessing at the time. So that pain was a blessing. I was like, oh, finally it's over. I could breathe. I never had so much peace in my life until that moment.
Was it like a moment of surrender in some way?
I don't know what it was. It was like, oh, it's over. Not surrender, but getting rid of all the bad stuff that I've been through.
I see. Like a purification.
Yes, like, it's like a pain relief. Like, it's like when somebody pressures your hand to break it and all of a sudden release it. You go, oh.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's that. And then I thought about my mother. I thought about my mother. Do you remember I told you about Persian mother?
Yes.
Do you remember before we start rolling, we were talking about cups and like baby animals, how the mothers carry them and take care of them and support them and all of that?
Yes.
My mother, I always say she carried me like a lioness carrying her baby with her teeth. Like she carried me along the way with all the, excuse my French, shit I've been through. And she went through all of it with me and she kept me alive. She did literally, physically kept me alive. So then I remembered, Holy Mother of Nature, if I die, it's such a beautiful thing for me. It's all over. I'm not going to be suffering anymore. What happens to her? What's going to happen to her? Can she survive this? Because losing a child that you did everything for her to survive, and then she's dead, like, then what is your purpose in life anymore? Like, why are you even alive anymore? You know what I mean? I just thought about the love that she has for me. 18 days later, I exited the hospital. Alone, by the way.
I've got to read one poem. I think it fits. It's really resonated. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with love like that. It lights the whole world. It's called The Sun and the Earth by Hafez.
Hafez. I know that poem very well.
There's so much beauty in that poetry. It's like divine message from whether you believe in God or universe.
The Persian poetry is beyond deep. I have known nothing deeper than that. Maybe I'm ignorant and I don't know enough. I think Dostoevsky is also very, very, very deep in the emotional level, but not spiritual level. The Persian poetry of that era is a mixture of God, spirit, and love. And there's nothing more perfect than that. You know, there's a poem that says, far beyond the right doings and wrongdoings, there's a field. I'll meet you there. You know, like when you're Iranian, then you grow up reading those stuff like, and then there's this regime that does this.
Yeah, it's like such like contrast.
The contrast is so, it can't be more further away from one another.
And yet, if you listen to those poems, it's all gonna be fine somehow, someday.
Yes, that's how I survived as a teenager. Like there's a poem from Rumi that I will read it in Farsi for you, and then I translate it to you. It says, شاد باش و فارغ و ایمن که من آن کنم با تو که باران با چمن من غم تو میخورم تو غم مخور بر تو من مشفق ترم از هر پدر. It says, be happy and euphoric that be happy, euphoric and safe that I do the same thing to you that the rain does to the grass. I will carry your sorrow. I will be even more father than a father. So when I was feeling lonely and broken, and I just kept on reading that to myself and writing that to myself. I have like notebooks of that specific poem, writing of it like a psychopath, like 100 times. And guess what? It did help me. There was someone in that poem that cared for me more than a father and was willing to do something like the sun and the rain that do to the grass. You're not alone when you read Persian poetry.
No.
So the God that we talked about, like there is God, there's no God, you feel it in the Persian poetry completely. Like it's a very spiritual kind of love and God. It's very separate. It's unearthly and it's not earthy and it's not the God that we know of. It is something that you carry with yourself that will always be there for you. It's not a God as in religion. It's not a God as in...
It's more than that.
It's not Jesus Christ for us. It's not Allah for us. It's not God for us. It's something. It's something very beautiful. That with it, you will never be lonely. But unfortunately, I somehow don't believe in God anymore. Maybe because of January.
I don't blame you. But that experience is still there, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
The feeling of oneness or the resonance or the... at least when I was reading, it felt like eternity in some ways.
It's like therapy to the soul when you read it.
It is. It is. I can see how you could go through the darkest of dark by just looking at those poems. And maybe that's the way the people in Iran continue to keep the light, even though this unspeakable suffering is on them all the time.
And crazy enough, that's how our language survived. Because a poet called Ferdowsi, during the darkest time of the Persian language, wrote the most important piece of literature in the history of humanity.
Right.
Not only Persian history, but the human literature. It's called Shahnameh. And he did not use a word of other language that was integrated in Farsi at the time. He did purification of the Persian literature in a story of Rostam and Sohrab, a father and the son, and their grandfather. It's a very, very beautiful story if you read about it. It's called Shahnameh. You can even read a short version of it, like a summary of it on Wikipedia.
Be very interested too.
You will love that. If you liked Hafiz, if you liked Rumi, it will blow your mind.
Can't wait.
Like, I can't wait to hear your feedback. And it's not only because it's Persian and it's Parsi, the stories it tells, the way that these guys overcome the devils that life throws at them, the monsters, like real monsters, like physical, like massive monsters, like from the ancient books, and how they get through life, and eventually how the father kills his own son and why he does it.
Mhm.
It's, yeah. You will cry reading that at the end of Shahnameh.
I'm sure.
But it's also full of the love stories of Tahmine. It's like, there's just so much romance in there. There's just so much romance in Persian poetry in general.
I see.
It's not only the romance between a man and a woman, but also the romance between man and a woman, and also the romance between men and men,
I've seen that too. It's
which
very
was
progressive.
Shams
Yeah.
and Rumi. All the books of Rumi, not all of them, like certain books of Rumi, he wrote all those poetry for Shams. And he writes the name of Shams under the in the last phrase of the poetry. It's like Shams, this, and that. So he makes sure that everyone knows about Shams. Different historians say different things. Some historians say they had a romantic relationship. Some historians say they had an extreme spiritual relationship, that it was almost godly, like holy.
Yep.
And some historians say Shams did not exist.
Of course.
Regardless of any of these three, even if Shams did not exist, you create a persona that you're going to give so much love and spirituality to it, then Shams is God.
Yeah.
The amount of love that you express in Persian poetry is ridiculous.
It is love. It's almost, if you have to define love, you can say it's Persian poetry.
I think so.
In
I
some
mean,
way.
we're so spoiled with love. We're such hopeless romantics that, for example, like, it doesn't necessarily mean like love. It could be platonic love. It could be mother's love. It could be love the way that in the poetry that I read for you is like, I will be your father. Like, who says that? I'll be the rain to your grass. Like
It's completely unconditional.
I'll be the sun to your mountain, like to your tree. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it is romantic without including a human being in it.
Yeah, it doesn't have the like stickiness of the human love and the drama of the human. It just has the airiness and eternity and peace and like the benevolence, everything like that's beautiful in the world is somehow being managed to squeeze into those words.
So we also have a lot of love stories that are important pieces of our literature, written by some of the most important poets and writers in our history, that are, let's say we have our own kind of Romeo Juliet. It's called Layli and Majnun. Layli was a woman, Majnun was the guy. And we write poems for them, and we show the extent of love with comparing our love to what they had. Like we say, this girl is a Layli, like it means she's as in love as Layli was. Like it means like the highest level, like of madness. And Majnun in the books, Majnun gets to the level of insanity from love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like euphoric. Like he's in euphoria from the love he has for Layli and the way he describes Layli in the poems, because the poetry is written through his tongue, like as if he wrote the poetry. Explains how beautiful Layli was, explains the way her hair moves in the wind. But when you dig into the history, you realize that Layli was a very ugly woman. Everybody found her ugly other than him. And the way he wrote about her eyes, about her nose, like there are books about Layli. Like there's books about Layli's beauty that he wrote. And about his own madness and how he was going through madness and being drunk with wine every night, like walking back home, like thinking of Layli, singing to Layli, and Layli was not there. Like, so it's like, and then it comes a government that tells you not only you don't have the right to touch a man or a woman with romance unless you get married without anything, you also don't have the right to hold hands.
They somehow seem to have like identified the most beautiful things that are enablers for the culture and the country and then prohibited them. So it's kind of like a masterclass of being evil almost.
It's a masterclass of how to destroy a culture.
That's
and
crazy.
Identity. And once you do that, those people have nothing to be proud of and to fight for. They accept their faith.
Based on what I've heard from you, it seems like it's going to be impossible to destroy entirely.
There's
almost
too much
succeeded
divinity in my parents' generation with exhausting them with war, 8 years of war with Iraq.
That happened, 20, 30 years ago?
It happened a
80s.
year and a half after the revolution.
Right. So
they did the revolution. Yeah. People went on the street to oppose to the revolution. Yeah. And then like, they're going to make another revolution. They're going to kick us out. Let us give them war. So they gave them 8 years of war, even though Iraq was saying, please, we don't want this. After the second or third year of war, the international community and the Iraqis prepared so many peace deals that the Islamic Republic was not willing to sign. Because they knew once they get peace, then people are going to go on the street again. And they will demand
the rights back that they
the rights of existing.
Yeah.
So they gave them so much war for 8 years.
They're really good at being evil. I'm sorry to say that, but that's really like strategically makes, like if you look from what they're trying to achieve, that's what you would do, but that's so wrong and it's like so bad. It's like crazy.
That war could be avoided and ended so many times.
I'm sure.
But it didn't happen. And then there was chemical attacks on the Iranians because of it by the Iraqis, which obviously Iranian people were put to war. So they had to actually join the army to fight. And then at the end of the war, around 350,000 people died defending our country. And there were villages with no man left.
That's really tragic.
And then there were villages also with neither man nor women left, because the women were also fighting. So after that, it comes the aftermath of the war. The year that the war ended was when I was born. I was born in spring, and the war ended in spring. In summer, I was a couple of months old. They started the executions of between 20 to 30,000 people that they were opposing to the regime. There are evidence of it. There are like photos and videos in front of mass graves, shooting them inside the grave. Like it all took 3 months to kill that amount of people with headshots. And some of them were alive while they were put in the graves. And there's like documents, like layers of documents about it. But then again, that scared the hell out of people. So they went back into their nest. Then the next movement happened when I was 7 years old. So you see, the gap between each movement for freedom is shrinking.
Yes, clearly. Like it's gotten progressively less, and now
Yes.
it's already 22 and 26 is like 4 years now.
Yes.
So
So it just keeps on shrinking. So it says something.
Yeah.
It says that they've been killing us. It hasn't changed. The way they kill us has changed. The numbers that they kill is more, but killing nevertheless. One person dead is already too much. But now it's been tens of thousands. Like, the numbers you hear are nothing compared to reality, and I'm not kidding. You will note, mark my words, remember this day that I tell you, the number of deaths of January in those 2 days are above 92,000 people.
I think they reported
Between
like a third of that.
92,000 to 110,000
That's
in
such
between.
tragedy.
The reality is that number because more than 50,000 people are missing.
They are
So
declared
they
missing.
keep them in the missing part because there's no dead bodies. So more than 50,000 people are missing. Yeah, 48,000 dead body counts. There's 50,000 people have not been found. So with that being said, and seeing the time between each uprising shrinking, when we talk about hope, millions of people like me exist that have hope. Some of the mothers of the children that they were killed and the young men and women that they were killed, they message us and some of my friends, and they're like, we're just waiting for Prince Reza to say when to get out again, when to go on the streets again. And Prince Reza said, for now, just hold your horses because we don't want you to get killed. Like,
I see.
no. Wait, regroup, get ready. We'll get there. And he's the only person we can trust because he's the only person that historically and politically has never been related to the Islamic Republic whatsoever. Everybody else that claims to be opposition has or have been somehow either worked in the administrations or have been in contact with the Iranian government or have been created by the Iranian government to be put outside as the opposition, to be able to take the lead of the people who oppose them. And he is the descendant of a dynasty that built Iran and took it from the Qajar dynasty that destroyed Iran to some point, because they created the Qajar dynasty. It did a lot of wonderful things when it comes to architecture and all of those stuff. But culturally, we were extremely colonized by other countries. Like we were almost a British colony, not officially, obviously, but they had power over everything. And then the Pahlavi dynasty came and kicked everyone out and built every infrastructure that today in 2026 Iran has. Oil infrastructure, rails infrastructure with German engineers at a time when people didn't know how to read and write for a couple of decades because of the Qajar dynasty. They were a little bit like the people that they ran Versailles, spending all the money on themselves, like having fun and like, you know, not really building the country. And then Reza Khan came and completely changed the that part, fixed that part of that glitch, we say. Qajar dynasty was the glitch in the Persian history that Reza Khan fixed the glitch. And then his son, which was Muhammad Reza Shah, continued to fix. But then revolution happened.
Was that time before revolution? Do you think that was like close to what the ideal freedom for people would look like in future?
Look, at a time, the Iranian society was ahead of you.
Yeah.
So with that being said, he was too free and too powerful, I would say. We need to be careful not to be too free and too powerful from the eyes of others. So we won't be seen as a threat anymore. We should be diplomatic. He was not diplomatic enough.
See.
He was too brave, too rich, dreamed too much, achieved too much, and lended too much money to the Europeans and the Western countries for them to be willing to pay it back. So they were not willing to pay it back. And for that reason, that was one of the reasons that everything unfolded the way it did. One of the very other, like so many other reasons. Obviously, there was another reason that was he wanted to ban hijab, which at a time, some parts of the society was extremely religious, so they were upset.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not something that you go make a revolution for. They needed reform.
Right.
They didn't need a revolution. And the reform was happening. The West decided to make it a revolution for the sake of whatever we all know. The oil industry that was taken away from the Brits, and then the amount of money that the Brits and the French and the Germans owed to the Iranian government at the time. And also to feel like to be able to tame the Persian power, you need to give them religious fanatics to oppress.
Mm-hmm. When did you decide to leave Iran?
It was 2014. I left in August 2014. It was very funny. I always traveled with my family all over the place. They were traveling to Europe, like, holidays, etc., etc. But living in Europe was a whole different thing. This may sound very bizarre and a very, very cliche, but even though I didn't like Germany at a time, because it was a culture shock to me, because I come from a very warm background, poetic, romantic mother, industrial father, living a fine life of, like, my grandfather taught me how to do gardening. I was 8 years old. He read Paulo Coelho to me. I was 12. The Alchemist.
It's beautiful.
I was 12. So growing up like that and then moving to Germany, you don't have anyone, you don't speak the language, the weather is a nightmare. And you don't feel like you're good enough at all to be there, in a sense of you already feel you're unworthy because you have been treated like that because of the government all the time. So you always feel like everybody's better than you and your existence is valued less. So the feeling of, like, I was very depressed and all of that. But then I started go for like runs at 1 a.m. because I was just so happy to be able to be free to do whatever the hell I wanted. And when you tell people, like, I wanted to do whatever the hell I wanted, they think, like, okay, she want to do drugs, she wants to, like, do this, do that, like, do crazy stuff. I wanted to run at 1 a.m. So I was going for a run at 1 a.m. You know what I mean? It was like a very childish way of innocent.
Yeah, innocent. Better word.
Sense of freedom, that I wanted to experience the wind that I told you about in my hair. Like, it was the most beautiful thing to me. I was not wrapping my hair while running. I was just letting it be. And then I remember at the time I had a friend, her name was Mahsa, that I got to know right there in Germany, the beginning of my entrance to Germany. It was like a couple of days and I met this girl and like we clicked and then we were just hanging out. It was warm. It was August. And it started to rain for some reason. And then I took my shoes off. I was wearing a short dress. I ran in the street and jumped up and down like a freaking moron under the rain. Like I was 5 years old. And it's not like I grew up in a family that my mind was free, you know what I mean? In my own home.
Yes.
But the feeling of I can take my shoes off. I'm going to jump up and down in the water and like splash the water with my feet at the age of 26, 7. It was the most liberating moment of joy until this day for me. That's what's called freedom to me. To be able to be the child that you are, that you were, and you will be, but just be it.
In some ways, that seems to be the story of humanity everywhere, that we have the ability to be present and innocent and enjoy life as it is as a children. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to get back to that state almost.
But the thing is, for us Persians, we never wanted to get out of that moment. It was taken away from us.
Yeah, and that of course increases the sense that you were describing.
Yes.
Significantly.
So since that day, I restarted to write poetry again. I started to somehow live again. I had my more than fair share of problems. And in 2016, I got sick and But then I was like, holy shit, I didn't die again.
Wow.
So I was born again in 2016. I'm 10 years old now.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So yeah, that's my story. And then I became a model, which itself is a protest to everything I'm not allowed to do. And my job is everything I'm not allowed to do. Being a woman, showing your hair, showing your skin, expressing yourself, visually and verbally.
You did everything that was forbidden previously.
Yes.
With massive amount of intensity, I'm thinking.
Yes.
And that's why you got so successful.
I think that's the only reason. No other reason. Is because I enjoy freedom so much. The liberty of just being Farnoush, in whatever shape or form that moment will be captured. I don't care. I don't care if in that moment I look beautiful or ugly, if I'm young or old, if I'm young enough, if I'm black enough or white enough, because I'm none. Because in Europe, you need to be either this or that, you know? Nor I'm an Arab. You cannot put me in a box. I don't belong to anywhere or to any ethnicity, like, you know? I'm just Farnoush. And when I carry Farnoush with me, I make sure that they know that Farnoush is Iranian. And that's all I do. So many times that blocks me. So many people in the industry don't like this Farnoush. I don't care. And I don't mind it anymore. I lose jobs, I lose contracts, I don't care. Because You cannot take the freedom of me being me away from me ever again until as long as I'm alive. You can kill me. I think that's the only moment that I don't know what happens after. Maybe I'm even more free.
That is a good question.
You cannot take that away from me. That's why when they pressure my family in Iran, when they pressure my loved ones, it breaks me to pieces. But you cannot take my freedom away from me, and I keep on talking. Just because I am free. They try to oppress you outside of Iran with pressuring your loved ones because they cannot physically reach you. Sometimes they do. Just like they attacked a friend of mine in another neighboring country in Europe, biologically with injections. And they took his family to inside Iran. But I also got to him. They may oppress him. I am his voice. If they do that to me, somebody else will be mine. They will be my voice. So this freedom of existing cannot be taken away from us. That's it.
Your bravery is so inspiring. Hopefully,
Maybe it's a stupidity.
hopefully one day you can come back here to celebrate the victory of people of Iran.
Maybe that day I invite you there.
I'd love that.
Maybe I'd invite you there.
We can have some Iranian tea and
Oh my God, you're going to get a little fat. You're going to get so fat.
I've heard that the food is
Oh,
excellent.
he's going to get fat.
What would be, I think to wrap up, what would be one Persian poem that everyone needs to know?
I think the one I read to you, one of them, and both my favorites I read to you. It's like far beyond the right doings and the wrong, they're far beyond the right doings and the wrongdoings. There's a field. I'll meet you there. I think that is something. That is something.
Thank you so much, Farnoush. It's been a really, really unspeakable amount of pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for letting me be the tool that you can help the Iranian people with. We may think what the amount of power that we have is so little, and the things we can do are so small and insignificant. But every little thing matters. The things that are little to us, they're a privilege for an Iranian. There's one more opportunity for them to be heard. That maybe one day someone, somewhere, will be able to do something for them. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I hope that this conversation will cause positive action, even in that one person that may be listening out there, and hopefully many more.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.